everybody. I am your number one around the way girl, Phoenix Fire, and you are live with us now on Straight No Chaser After Hours. I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Raindrop Blicker, and our engineer for the evening, Michelle. Hey, Michelle. We are here now with Follow Suit with Anthony and Gilbert. Nobody move, nobody get hurt.
10 o'clock. Lights down. Phoenix Fire. Straight. No chaser. Straight no chaser. After hours. Turn me up. Let it take ya. Feel the power. Phoenix Fire. Got you tangled in this sound. You don't need to go out. I'ma take you down. Straight no chaser. After hours. Slow and steady, let the minutes stretch for hours. From the first low note till your guard falls down. You're the only one I'm talking to now. Soft laugh when you type my name. You in shorts and his old.
All right, gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a pleasure having you here live with us now. But I want to start off about the beginning of Follow Suit and your roles in the organization, how you started and where you plan on taking.
Oh, it's a long story. You got enough time for us?
I do.
Well, Follow Suit started as just me, my live life experience of growing up and my life choice. It's a movie played out, and when I rewinded it back, it was me wanting to give back to my community from the choices that I made, and also knowing as a young man what I went through growing up and where it led me to and where I am now today. And curved that in with giving back to the community and doing something for my community. And that's what spanned into Follow Suit. So along the way of my journey, it starts as me as a young boy, no father in the home, basically growing up and treading through the streets on my own with only just the guidance of my mother. And I was a sports player. I played sports. My coach gave me some life choices that he used to give us off the court lessons, on the court lessons. And he used to always talk about what you're gonna do when you ain't playing basketball. And he used to always say, you're never gonna get a second chance to make a first impression. So that always stuck with me. And my coach, Dennis Wilson, Hall of Fame high school coach for Boston, he used to walk the sidelines in a suit, so he came dressed to impress. So that started instilled in me and stuck with me. So then when I made my bad choices along the way, which led me to being a fugitive from justice, led me to being in prison and wasting almost 20 years of my life. While I was sitting doing those 20 years, I always said, not doing the 20 years in prison, but 11 of those years I was in prison. But I always said I'm going to give back to my community. And the goal of giving back to my community just came about in 2019. I was recovering from having a surgery, and the senseless violence, that's like the senseless violence that just took place this past week in our city, in our community. I just had enough of seeing it every day because I was recovering from open heart surgery. I couldn't do nothing but be on the couch and watch TV. And during that time, I just said, one day I don't know what happened. Young kid got shot or stabbed, and I just said, damn, man, if they only pull their pants up, they might put the guns down. And the light bulb just went off from there. And I just started thinking to myself, you know what? I got a social media page. I'm sort of popular already. I'm going to change my page. I'm going to strip it down, and I'm only going to put what I see as a representation of a man on my social media page, dressed a part of a man. And I just started posting me. Anytime I went somewhere where I had to put on a suit or I want to put on a suit, I would just post a picture. And sometimes I would put little metaphorical captions with it. And people started following it to the point where everybody thought I was selling suits and had starting a clothing line. So I gathered my audience together. And then once I gathered the audience together, a friend of mine called me up and he asked me about helping him dress the part of a man. And he said when he got his money right, he wanted to start dressing the part of what we consider dressing like a man. And he asked me, would I help him? And I said, sure, man, no problem. and I sent him something to look at. And after he got done looking at it, before we hung up the phone during that conversation, he said, T, if you ever start your own clothing line or something, you should call it Follow Suit. And I was like, And I knew I wasn't going to start no clothing line. But the Follow Suit just stayed in my head. I went to sleep, Follow Suit. I woke up in the morning, as soon as I got done making my prayers, first thing that popped in my head again was Follow Suit. And I said, man, that means I got to take this and use it. I got to do something with it. And then that just started the ball rolling. I said, well, I'm going to start maybe a mentoring program or something and teaching the kids the fact of never getting a second chance to make a first impression and dressing for success. And that's the name of the program is going to be called Follow Suit. And then I just started letting my brain spin into action. And I came up with the mantra of Follow Suit as a mantra, which means to follow the suit. And as you follow it, you're going to lead to know that a suit is a role model and a mentor whose purpose is to give guidance to the young men in our community and well as to society. Bam, stamp that down. At the same time, one of my younger, he's like my little brother, he had a studio and he always was like, your voice needs to be heard. And he's like, let's do a podcast. So I started doing a podcast and I started interviewing mentors and role models and coaches and all those people before me who already did the work that I'm doing. Because I was like, I'm not going to come out the gate and say, I got the best program going. I got the blueprint. No one's ever done it like I'm doing it. So I said, no, I'm going to show you how I got inspired to do this by giving these people their flowers on the podcast. So we use the podcast along that, merged together. Gilbert lived around the corner from me growing up, so he seen me in action in the bad way and also, later on in a good way. Then we used to see each other out, clubs here and there. He likes to dress. He see me dress. He compliments me. I used to compliment him. And one day we just happened to be at the same wake, and come to find out we was related through marriage with his father and some cousins on the other side of my family. We was at the same wake. And then he was telling me he was starting the clothing line. So it was like, man, I'm starting this thing with the young men and I want to put them in suits. He's got a suit company. Boom, we got to put this together, Follow Suit. So we just merged it together. Then the icing on the cake was Gilbert has 35 years in education?
About that 30
years in education.
And we're about to go to Gilbert too.
Okay. Told you that takes a long time to tell the full story to get the whole realm. But he has a background in education, so we just mixed the two together and we put together a curriculum. We started with one workshop, turned it into 3, turned it into 5, and then we mastered it into a 7-workshop curriculum for Follow Suit.
And so, Gilbert,
Yes.
With your background in education, what made you want to follow suit with the program and the mentoring? And helping young men, dress the part, or the fake it till you make it saying that. I love it. Some people say, oh, I don't like to say fake it till you make it, but I say that because sometimes you got to put yourself in a position where you've never been before to feel it. And wearing clothes can make you feel better.
So, coming from education, I learned several years ago when I was still in college, and I didn't plan to be an educator. But one thing, I worked for the Mass Department of Public Health, and they said prevention was the best way to prevent AIDS and other communal diseases in that way. It was prevention. So that thing always stuck in my mind. And so when the opportunity presented itself, I was too as an athlete, played a little bit in college, all throughout high school. And I had been coaching when I first got home from school. I decided I didn't necessarily want to coach. The climate was changing. I was just trying to, figure some things out. So when I decided during COVID, it was right during COVID, I decided to open up this what is called Thirst Custom Clothing. And so when the opportunity presented itself, it really matched what I was doing educationally, designing curriculum and doing something that I enjoy doing, having fun, dressing up. I'm probably the only, not the only one, because I know he does it as well. I play dress up. I practice what I'm gonna put on before I go outside and put it on. Coupled with the fact that with that thing around prevention, it's important to get things, and we were targeting age groups that if you get them before they get to that age, then we'll see less things that happen this weekend. And so it just mirrors sort of my philosophy. I live by that saying, if I can help somebody along the way, then my living won't be in vain. So having that sense of responsibility to myself, to my family, and to my community, this is the way it presents itself, and it's through follow suit. So since that is, we just been rocking and rolling since then.
So what does the curriculum look like for the young men that joined the program? I too had my son in the program, which he loved. He was a little shy at first, but I think there's a lot of good that you guys definitely have to bring out some of that shyness out of some of these little boys that don't have the representations at home to be bold and to be brave and assertive and to get out there and be themselves.
Yeah. So one of the first things is we first tell them, speak up. You're going to speak up in the class, because they all,
talk to the back of the room.
So we say, we're all men here. We're going to be men. This program, you're going to become a man in this program, and you're going to talk like a man. We want you to represent yourself like a man, because before you know it, you're going to be a man.
Right.
So we have a 7-step curriculum, which starts with build a suit. We have how to tie a tie. We have financial literacy. We have health and wellness. We have mental health, which is teen suicide prevention for young black and brown boys. We have
healthy relationship.
And then we cap it off with a vision board. And so healthy relationship covers a healthy relationship with their self, with their partner, if they choose to have a partner, and also in the home and outside of the home. What does a healthy relationship look like? And it has components of sexual assault in it. It has components of domestic violence in it when we teach the class. And teen suicide prevention, we have a partnership with Samaritan's organization, which is one of the biggest suicide prevention organizations. We have one of the facilitators come in, and we collaborated and created language in the curriculum that they already had, and we tweaked it to speak to young brown and black boys. So they get that. They go to the gym with the health and wellness, so we take them to a gym with a professional trainer, and they learn about carbohydrates. They learn about what they're actually eating and putting in their body, as well as exercising in the proper way to exercise and take care of their bodies. And then the how to tie a tie, of course, every young man should know how to tie a tie. And the part that's sparked me with that is when I was doing my podcast, every mentor or coach that I interviewed, I always asked them who taught them how to tie a tie. And probably 80% of them said their mother. So the father, and my mother taught me. My father wasn't there to teach me, so that was like a key component of you're gonna learn from a man. You know what I mean? If there ain't no father in your house, you're gonna learn today from a man how to tie this tie. And building the suit is we teach them all the components about a suit, so they're not actually building a suit. They're learning everything about the suit, the components about the suits, and the proper time, when you should wear a suit, where you should wear a suit, what kind of suit you should wear to what kind of events you should go to. We also teach them their measurements and how do you measure yourself. You don't wear an extra large suit. You don't wear an extra large or a large shirt. You wear a size 16 collar, 17 collar. Right. You wear a 44 long, whatever. Teach them the proper way so when they go into the store, when they want to shop, or to the tailor, these are the questions that you tell them. These are the answers that you would give them for what you're looking for when you're buying your clothes. And then Gilbert brings out the swashes, the fabrics, and all that. And so we actually have them pick out the patterns, the colors, and the fabric of a suit that they're going to actually have custom made for them. So they do get a suit built. They're just not building it.
That's deep.
Yeah. And just to add to that, so at the culmination, we do vision boarding, which Tony didn't. But in vision boarding, you know, we talk about where there's no vision, you're going to perish. So really to get young people and instill in them and plant the seeds of, you have to have a vision for what you want your life to be.
Right.
And so we have them put it on a vision board, and we have them talk about where do they see themselves in 15, 20, 30 years down the line, and what do they want their life to be like. And so they have an opportunity, you know, go through magazines and put the different cars and watches and colognes. And we always throw these other little subtle hints in about, you know, how you should present yourself, you know, how, you know, button up your shirt all the way to the top, how you should wear your vest, how you should wear your suit, how your pants should fit, colors, combinations, and all those other little things that will help them find their own style, which is unique to them in their, you know, the way that they want to look. But it's also, you know, again, we're about planting seeds for when you become an adult, you'll be able to go back and say, hey, this is what someone taught me. These two men, Tony and Gilbert, taught me about X, Y, Z, so I know what I'm talking about, to have the right kind of conversations when you're in the right places with the right people.
What are some of the success stories that you've heard from the beginning of your earlier classes with the young men that have come from that program?
Oh, the best success stories are the very first two young men that we actually had in the program. They're both in college. I believe they're both about to graduate this year. So that's probably the best success story that we got. And then some of them that we have like ambassadors now too. Actually, last year, one of the kids who was in our program, he actually came. So we do a lot of videography with the program. We try to capture some video just about of every workshop. And so our videographer, he also takes kids who want to intern with him and learn. And one of the kids actually came, and we have a health for wealth walk that we do. This is our second year. We did it last year. And actually, actual photographer, videographer, he couldn't be there. And so one of our actual students filmed our whole event for us last year.
Wow.
I would say that our full success stories haven't necessarily been told because, again, we're 4 or 5 years in, but we've started with a lot of young people between 11 and 13. So our next group, or after those two, they're probably just heading into their senior year in high school. But I think some of the success stories can be told by parents when parents say, my child's behaving better in school. They're opening up, they're talking, they're able to express themselves. And when you see the faces, especially at graduation, and when the students, young men give their affirmation and they, you know, sort of pledged to their parents what they're going to be and what they're going to do, and the tears start to flow, to me, that's success.
Right.
So those are the things that I see as successful. So it's happened every single time. And T tells me don't cry, because I cry every single time.
Oh, nice.
But when you see these young men say to you, I feel good. I feel good. You know, look at me. You know, they're walking around with their heads held high. That's success for me.
I love it. So before they get to the graduation at school or whatever, where you're crying, you guys have reveal day, where now you take off your clothes, you try on your suits. Isn't that, I would say that's an emotional event as well.
Well, so that day happens, the graduation, it's all happens usually at one time when we've been able to use different venues to help us. One of our supporting contributors and sponsors, Sal Magundy's, it's where they get the hats.
The hats, yeah.
So, you know, we have students, you know, we're taking pictures of them and seeing themselves and the families, you know, sort of participating. And then they come back with this custom-made suit on with their ties, pocket squares, and everything. And now we even add in shoes to it. So that's part of it all happens on that graduation / reveal day. And I mean, if you see some of the videos and stuff, you can see the difference in the young men and also in the families. You know, a lot of times we have to tell people to, you know, chill, relax, and, you know, we got this, and, you know, we're taking care of. They're just so excited to see their young men, you know, really dressed up.
Yeah. And then the parents, some of the mothers there, some of them are so nervous because when we say they picked out the suit. So that's like a big thing right there. They can't believe when some of them, they come out, when their sons come out in the suit, and they be like, he really picked that out?
Yeah.
And they be like, look at my baby, you know. So that's like the icing on the cake is when they put on the suit.
Do you only see mothers signing their sons up for this program, or are their fathers involved as well?
Yeah, there's fathers too.
Predominantly mothers, coupled with grandmothers, and then we've had fathers all throughout, and sometimes it's just scheduling. So it's not necessarily that all these fathers aren't necessarily involved. It's just time. And we during 2 of the sessions, our fall session and our spring session, ran on Saturdays. So depending on how whatever father's work schedule and stuff, our summer sessions I run during the week. So it's just a little bit different. So you see fathers pick up and drop off, but they may not be initially signing them up.
Right.
But there's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of both.
And we encourage the family to participate in the vision board. So get some fathers that come for the vision board aspect as well. But the part of it that's key, like I said, was because I know the fact of not having a father in the home, and not a male role model in front of me, the choices that we can make. So that's what we tell the kid when you're 11, 12, 13 right now. We're going to talk next year when you're 14 and 15, and I want to know which one of your friends is no longer coming to school. Which one of your friends, he's in a gang now. Which one of your friends is using drugs? Which one of your friends is selling drugs? Which one of your friends is carrying a weapon? So these are the key components really of the whole program, because I lived all of that. People that know Tony Thompson at 14 don't know the guy at 19, 20.
Right.
Also, one of the things that we do is each week, or not every week, but majority of the weeks during our programming, we bring in special guests to have conversations. So we've had people like professional athletes. Randall Jackson played professional basketball for several years. We had Ivan Fierce, who's a Super Bowl winning coach. He brings in all 6 Super Bowl, or some of the Super Bowl rings, and he shares his own personal journey. Other people have from all different walks of life to come share their story with young men. So it's not just programming, but they're also getting inspiration from seeing other people who can talk about some of the same neighborhoods and then know families and stuff. And so what I've seen is a lot of times we'll know grandparents and parents and stuff, and so it all just becomes real connected. It becomes like a little family.
Right.
And one of our other things we didn't talk about as of yet, we do a Friendsgiving, where we bring back all of the cohorts from that previous year, tell them to bring their families, we feed them, and we sit down and we talk and we have conversations and meetups, and we have a little program and, kind of sharing how the year went. So it's really nice.
So with that being said, with the Friendsgiving, with the suits and the ties, now the shoes, you need funding for that.
Yes, we do.
So we're going to get on the event coming up this Saturday, actually. But how do you get the funding? How do you get the who sponsors and help sponsors the program?
Mostly get funding from just applying for grants. Applying for grants and getting grant money. And then we get a couple of sponsors during our fundraiser to sponsor. But the 90% of it is just through grant, or we just put up some of the money ourselves.
So we're going to change all that, everybody. We're going to change all that. We definitely want to support this program at all costs. So we'll definitely get on to how they can contribute to the program. But not only that, so this Saturday, July 11th, is the 5th annual fundraiser for Follow Suit.
Yes, it is.
And so let's talk about that. Like, who's going to be in the house? What are we eating?
Oh, man. So Follow Suit 5th annual fundraiser at the Bruce Bowling Building, 2300 Washington Street in Roxbury, the heart of our community, where we're from. So I said I'm going to do it in the community because my whole thing when I started Follow Suit was about saving my community, helping my community, pouring back into my community. So I said I have to have the venue for the fundraiser in my community.
Right.
And so that's why we do it at the Bruce Bowman Building. And so this year we have, me and Gilbert both, we're sort of the same. We love old school music. We don't like the new school. Nothing against nobody in the new school who does new music or whatever, but we like old school music. I won't even get a new car because I want a CD player. I got a car, my car got a CD player, and I'm not getting a new one. 'Cause I want to put my CDs on.
Right.
And so we have Melissa Morgan, Fool's Paradise, Do Me Baby, Do You Still Love Me? I recently found out she's got Grammys and stuff. She actually wrote for Whitney Houston. So she's like high up there in the music industry. So Melissa Morgan's going to be on the rooftop. We got a live band as well performing. And we also have the award ceremony where we honor community activists, leaders, and mentors, the people that we stand on their shoulders who've been representing our community and giving us something to look for, you know, when we turn on the TV, on the news, besides those negative stories. So we want to honor those people in our community. So we have an award ceremony, and we honor 3 people every year. So this year we're honoring Dr. G. McGuire. If anybody knows about the MECRO program, that's Dr. G. McGuire.
Right.
You know, and then we have Joseph Feaster, who ran the Urban League for many years, and he's also been an attorney for over 30, 40 years. And we have Greg Davis, who's been in substance abuse for many years, about 30 years or so. He's run a substance abuse place, you know, to help people who's fallen through the cracks and made those choices and trying to get themselves back together. He has a place for you to go, and, you know, he helps out, you know, in the sponsor and all those type of things, and helped out many people. Some of them have been my uncles and cousins.
Family members, yes. And we also have DJ Ron G, the legendary T. Lawson, DJ T. Lawson, New England's finest female DJ, hottest DJ.
New England's hottest DJ. Right.
Hottest DJ, and but it's really, you know, we're celebrating and fundraising the accomplishment of the young people and trying to raise some funds so that and celebrate the good work that's going on, and giving them people an opportunity to party with a purpose. So when you're supporting this event, you're not really supporting Tony and Gilbert.
Right.
You're not. It doesn't put any money in our pockets. We walk away the same way we walked in, financially speaking. But really, it's helping us get our message across of what we want young men in this community to have.
So can you tell the viewers like how they can sponsor? And also, will the young men be there that day to show off their suits? Because
it's an adult party, it's a 21 plus.
Okay.
So we don't, but in a few years, we'll have them back.
So that's why we do the Friendsgiving. So we have the young men can come in their suits for the Friendsgiving, because we serve alcohol and stuff. So we want the separate events.
All right. So tell everybody how they can sponsor and get in contact with you and how they can find you, purchase tickets, all that good stuff. Okay, so we have a website, followsuitmentoring.org. You can go right on there if you want to sponsor, make a donation. If you want to do a bigger sponsorship, you can contact us at followsuit2000@gmail.com, and we can discuss if you want to do some kind of sponsorship package. And if you want to just come to the event, July 11th on the rooftop of the Bruce Bowman Building, go right on Eventbrite and purchase your ticket. Okay. All right. Is there anything else you guys would like to add about the Follow Suit Mentoring Program? We're on all platforms, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Oh, I also want to add, we're starting our summer cohort. We're still in recruitment mode for young men between the ages of 11 and 14. If you're interested, again, hit us up on any of those platforms, and we'll definitely make a way. We start July 13th, a week from today. Mm-hmm. So we got a couple of slots left. We're looking for a couple of kids, about 3 to 4 kids right now. So any parent out there that has a young man that's not getting a summer job, or he's not old enough to get a summer job, you want him
something for them to do 2 days a week for the next 3 weeks, we'll take care of them for 2 days a week for the next 3 weeks.
I love
we'll be
it.
at the Roxbury Y.
And it's free.
And it's free.
Yeah, remember that, you guys. They're offering a free program for young men, you know, to mentor them and to change their lives. So definitely share, donate, and contribute. I appreciate you guys for coming here
Appreciate
tonight.
you for
Straight
having
No
us.
Chaser After Hours is a pleasure.
Appreciate you having us.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're so welcome. All right, thank you everybody for joining us live here on Straight No Chaser After Hours. I am your number one around the way girl, Phoenix Fire, and I will see you next week. Bye. All right, thank
Good
you.
job.
Say my name in the dark. Let our signals align. Straight no chaser. After hours, turn me up. Let it take ya. Feel the power. Phoenix fire. Got you tangled in this sound. You don't need to go out. I'ma take you down. Straight no chaser. After hours, slow and steady, let the minutes stretch for hours. From the first low note till your guard falls down. You're the only one I'm talking to now.